What's up, Dad?
What's up, Dad? What's up? What's up, Dad? What's up?
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
What's up, everybody? It is the What's Up Dad podcast here. I'm with my trusty co-host of the night. We got Nala here with us, and we are super excited. I am winging it. I just hit the record button, and we are about to go at it here. So you're going to notice Ryan's not with me this week. He's got a lot going on, and that is A-okay. So we are trying to still pump out some content for you guys. We missed last week, had some sickness, had all kinds of stuff happening, and we are trying to get this stuff happening. But what you're not going to miss is we have some freeze-dried beef liver bites by Cavallo. This was sent to us because my wife is an Amazon influencer. This was sent out, and I'm sure she is pumped to test some new freeze-dried beef liver bites, and we are going to make it happen. So I got a bunch of questions. I just went into ChatGPT and I said, hey, ChatGPT, I need some questions to talk about on my What's Up Dad podcast. I'm doing it solo tonight. So it just gave me a random stuff, okay? It said prompts create funny stories, meaningful moments, listener engagement, clips for social media, group them by vibe so you can pick. And we're going to get into that. But we got a lot going on. I don't know about you guys. It is May. It is May, and with May, we have crazy weather that is happening. We've had our pool open for almost a month-ish or more, and we swam twice. I haven't even gotten in the water yet, but we swam twice. It has been brutally awful. The weather, I'm not wishing it away, but at the end of the day, man, it has been awful. So there is that. But hey, we're here. We're still kicking and screaming, and we're still going to enjoy summer. The kids are almost out of school. Everything's going to be changing soon. I do believe it's changing. The weather is coming. We got sports that are happening. Softball is happening. We've got Beth has done coaching. I mean, life is changing. Everything's changing. It's all changing, which is all good stuff. It's all the fun stuff. I know you want me to get on with the show, and you want some freeze-dried treats. You can smell them. Can you smell them? Yeah, they smell good, but you got to wait patiently, okay? All right. So we're going to get into it. We got a lot of stuff going on with the What's Up Dad podcast, trying to just pump out the content. So we're going to get in here and talk about some relatable stuff. We're going to talk about some funny story-based stuff, nostalgia, generational, marriage, family dynamics, and real talk with deeper conversations, rapid-fire segment, audience engagement, and strong episode themes. Oh, my goodness. I shouldn't have read all those out loud, but hey, that is life. So maybe you got some insight, maybe not, but let me move these over. I'm using Ryan's microphone as my holder for the phone. I guess I could have done this a little bit better, but it is what it is. All right, before we get going, we got Cavo freeze-dried beef liver bites. Boom. This is happy in every bite always. There's one single ingredient, high in iron, zinc, sports energy, and vitality. 100% raw beef liver is the ingredient list. Oh, man, it tells you how many. Dude, you ate way too much of this. This has 3 to 4 pieces a day for 25 to 50 pounds, or 5 to 6 for dogs over 50 pounds. Not for human consumption? I don't understand that. Whatevs. All right, let's get into it. Let's get it open. I know you're excited. Pumpkin. All right, let's see. Can you get it first sniff test? What do we like? She can smell it through the can. Absolutely. Licking her chops, smelling it through the can. Trying to eat this. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, that's nasty smelling. Okay. Here's the deal. You're going to get 5 to 6. Maybe you didn't have any yesterday, so we'll give you extras, but that's okay. The smell test is no bueno, but that's okay. I'm not eating them. Ugh. You're going to have some terrible breath, some kick-in breath. So 574 kcals per container. That's a lot, I think. No, maybe not. All right, let's get into it. First treat of the night. Give me a taste test. What do you think, girl? Is it like the other one? Those Vital ones? Man, those were awesome. All right, you didn't give me a no, but she took her time to eat it. You tasted it out. Was that good? Was that good? Why are you so shy tonight? Was it good? Okay. All right, let's get into some stuff here. See what we got going on. Da 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 da. Let's go with things dads pretend that don't bother them, but absolutely do. I'll be honest with you. I think dads, like I read this post the other day. This is something, I read the other day, about we tend to not be bothered about taking our kids into the bathroom. But man, that is the most awkward thing, not being able to do the bathroom situation, with kids, with young kids that are yours and dealing with them. That's such a weird scenario. Women can take their sons, right, little toddler sons in the bathroom with no problem. They can take their daughters in the bathroom with no problem. But men, man, we have to think about that. Now, one of the questions I have for you guys, she is pumped for these things, by the way. One of the questions I have for you is, do you, as a man, take your daughter into the woman's bathroom? That one's a new one. I read that post. Now, I've never done that before, unless it's like a single stall woman's bathroom where it's like one person goes in, you lock the door behind you, just because we can use that aspect. That's like single bathroom side of things. But I've never done it for like a full bathroom. Like, hey, open the door. Any ladies in here? I have my daughter. She needs to go to the bathroom, and then take her in. That is beyond awkward to me. So if you've done that, I'm curious. But that whole bathroom thing, it's very, very difficult. I wish there was more family restrooms, to help out with that situation. But that's always very awkward, and it can be very, very difficult. Plus, bathrooms are disgusting. Public bathrooms are disgusting. If you ask me, I am not a fan of them. So my son touches everything. That's nasty. My daughter's, having to go to the man, that is just a mess. And when you think about that from a totality perspective, that is just a hot mess. So that is something that, pretend like, oh, just take them, we'll just go, yada yada yada. No, that bothers me. Using public restrooms and taking my kids into public restrooms is like not what I want to do. So nonetheless. All right, let's see here. Man, what is your most dad moment you had recently? All right, so dad moment I had recently. So my middle child, she had a zoo trip, so we went to the zoo. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I want to be the cool dad, not because I try, but I'm also funny. I'm goofy. I love my kids to laugh. My job is to make them laugh and have a good time. We can be serious, but having a good time is super important. So I want to make them laugh, and I want to be goofy, right? I just want to let them know that sometimes it's okay to be fun and the experience and stuff like that. That is all super important. On the trip, rode the school bus, broke my back riding the school bus. That was awful. But they each had an animal that they did a project on. So the animal they did a project on, we had to go find them and stuff like that. But I asked the goofiest questions, like, all right, does this animal fly? No, it doesn't fly. Is a bald eagle really bald? Does it have feathers? Do penguins have fur? Or, I'm the guy that's going to really make fun stuff happen. And I can tell you what, I had the kids rolling the whole entire trip. But from a dad, I was the only dad in our group parent wise. Now there was moms there, Beth went, there was moms there, but I felt like it was my responsibility to charge and just take charge of this. So I feel like I did that really well. That was my dad moment. Like we crushed. She wants these. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I crushed the zoo trip, right, with the kids. But not only did we crush it, okay, let's add icing on the cake, okay? We got ice cream. Sorry, teacher, I know we weren't supposed to, but dad bought ice cream for everybody because we had to do the ice cream thing. That was super important. And then what else did we do? We did something else that was super fun. But again, I just made the whole experience, I want the kids to do, and that's my dad moment. Like we have to be relatable to these kids. They will see us differently when we are vulnerable, right? But vulnerable in the right time for them. And you can lead, guide, and be vulnerable all at the same time. And that perfect mix, it changes everything. So that's my dad moment I would say I had recently, and just enjoying that with the kiddos is super important. And being able to be relaxed. I mean, I remember when we got to see these presentations of these animals that they were doing and stuff like that, I'm walking around and I'm asking the dumbest questions, right? And I'm just getting them engaged. I know they can tell me that they are carnivores, or they like to eat grass, or they're really fast, or whatever it is. But I asked how the cheetahs get their spots and what do their spots mean, right? Like, and why is a red panda really orange? Or right? Like, I mean, those are the questions that I'm going to make fun and have fun with, and I'm going to engage them in a different way, but also make them think too. And I think that's important. And that is a dad moment that, happens. So, what changes when your kids start getting older? Emotions. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I can't handle the emotions. The emotions are quite difficult. They snap. They not snap on a dime. They turn on a dime. They change on a dime. And I can tell you what, that is so difficult to manage emotions, especially with two older daughters and then a son, right? My son hasn't gotten into his emotional side of things, but he is just a wild child in my perspective. But my daughters, though, man, they are emotional roller coasters. Getting into that next level of life, right? That's super fun. Talking about those next level things and all that stuff, and then and two, like um thinking, like, when I don't remember at this age did girls start thinking boys were cute, or vice versa. Like, my son has learned from my daughters, like, he's crushing on a girl. Like, I'm like, you guys are crazy. You are crazy talk at the end of the day. That's a bunch of shenanigans. And that is not something I'm prepared for. Like, I was thinking, hey, we got like puberty at 13 years old. I got plenty of time. No, we have emotions at 6 and 7 and 8 years old. My goodness, it's a rolling nightmare. Now, with that being said, that is the world that we live in. Emotions are ran high, and they are just popping off at all times. And I think the world is allowing that and wanting that to be regulated in a different way. Whereas back in the day, man, they were like, just go outside and play, right? Just go outside and play. Like, and I don't know if it was a level of suppression that occurred, like suppression of those emotions, or just we just didn't have a chance to get them because we're like, hey, we got to go outside. Like, can't call my friends on my cellular device, or I'm not going to be seeing them on Instagram or Tickety Talk, right? Like, so I think that's the other thing that I just struggle with. And I tell you, as kids get older, those are all the things that you're going to run into and that are going to be difficult and you're going to be faced with. So while that's crazy talk and I get so nervous about it, obviously it's the joys of being a parent too. So we're learning together. We're working through this together. We're praying about it. We're praying about our emotions. We're working through our emotions together, which is super important. So, yeah. Um, a time your kid completely humbled you, man, I can relate to being on the softball field. I tell you what, my daughter I struck her out like 3 times in a game. I believe it was last year or in the fall or something like that. And she come up and she said, "Dad, you did the best job you possibly could." Like, I felt like an ant. Like, I felt like so small that literally, because it's a combination of kid pitch, coach pitch. So if you get 4 balls, you get to throw them 3 pitches, up to 3 pitches, and so on and so forth. And oh my gosh, like, I struck her out, I think 3 times in a game. That's all the at bats she had gotten, and I felt like just so small. And not to say Beth didn't help me feel that way, because she was so frustrated that I throw such good pitches. I'm like a pro cornhole softball coach pitcher, right? And um, my daughter's just come up and like humbled the experience, saying, "Dad, like, it's okay. You tried your best. I tried my best, and that's that." And I've been humbled by her in multiple occasions, saying it's okay, right? All my kids end up doing that, and they humble me in various ways when it's like, and I'll say this, like, the best thing that we've done is just invest in their biblical understanding, their walk with Christ, their love of the Lord, and that's what we continue to focus on, and we always focus on, right? They humble us, or me specifically, when they bring that Bible knowledge, that biblical backing and understanding, and bring me down to planet Earth. Like, that is something next level. That is something that I need from them. Not, and I don't tell them I need that, but I tell them to stand strong on their faith, and they can see that Dad is a sinner just like they are, right? And I'm not perfect, nor do I claim to be or attempt to be, because there's no way I can be. But the reality of it is like you have this situation and you're running into it and you're dealing with it, and you need, like, we end up, or we are humbled, right, by our kids. And when they drop the faith bombs, oh my goodness, it's just wild. So there's that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with, man, the chaos of family vacations. I'll probably get in trouble on that one. The dumbest injury you've gotten as a dad. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Don't rupture your Achilles. That is awful. That will set you back. I love playing sports still and having the ability to play sports still. Not everybody has that ability with various things in their life, but I do from time to time enjoy playing adult softball. I'll shoot the rock around playing, basketball from time to time. Like, I will indulge in playing those things or getting with the guys and football, whatever it might be. But I'm also having to be more cautious today than ever, because 2.5 years ago or such, I ruptured my Achilles, and that was devastating. And that was the worst injury, one of the worst injuries you could possibly have as a parent, because like you're completely debilitated, like you are useless for 6 to 8 to 9 weeks, like in my opinion. And I have a friend that just ruptured his less than 9 months ago, and he tried to be Superman, and now I didn't have that ability or didn't want to be Superman because I realized I needed to get healed, and I just had this feeling of I gotta play it safe. He re-ruptured his Achilles, and like he ruptured it and then re-ruptured it like th- not even 8 weeks into it, right? And so like for him, it's just backfire. Everything's backfiring, right? Your body has to heal, and it takes so much time to do that. So that's just something that the dumbest injury that I've dealt with is absolutely that. I think I can work through and play through and deal through everything else. But I can just tell you, like, I'll be honest with you, even though I have the joy of playing and doing all the stuff like for myself, I don't want any of my injuries to keep me from being able to be mobile and active for my kids. And that is where my mind is at. I don't want it to affect me today and in the future when my kids and my kids, hopefully we get to that point, right? And I'm still around. But at the end of the day, like that is the scenario. So that's what I pray for, and as we're praying for them, I'm praying for that. It's crazy. Just let me not be so injured that I cannot roll around on the floor with the kiddos. Right. I can't not show up at softball practice or getting them to and from school or whatever that might look like. So it's just crazy to think that. So, um, let's see here. Things dads do that moms will never understand. I don't know if that's really a good question in a true marriage, right? And I say that like lightly but very specifically. There's a lot of marriages that it's very 50-50 or it's felt that way. I don't think there's anything that I can do that my wife can do. And I give her that aspect. Now, at the end of the day, we're called to be the leaders of the family, as the men and stuff like that. We're called to lead our family. So I guess there's like a slight hiccup or space to that, not hiccup, but biblical understanding of that aspect. However, um, I don't think there's something for my kids to my kids other than being like their protector, I guess, for lack of better words. Being that protector and being that person, and the demand of that, which is wildly accepted on my end. I will be that protector. Um, but at the end of the day, moms also do way more than we all give them credit for, right? That's something else. So a whole nother conversation. The difference between first kid parenting and third kid parenting. First kid is I'll be honest with you guys, you clean up all the stuff. You're super careful about what you do. You got the hand sanitizer at all times. You're just managing everything. It's super, super simple and easy, in my opinion. And I say that with like a an asterisk, right, with a grain of salt. But like going from first kid to third kid, man, third kid's like, hey, I hope you're dressed today. I hope you have a matching ish or two socks that actually fit. I hope that you make it in the car because we may drive away without you and we might forget it. That's the difference between first kid and third kid parenting. Like third kid is life changing. Because there is a new level of difficulty that enters in of being outnumbered. However, at the end of the day, it's so much easier, right? It's so much more difficult and easier because there's the third, but yet at the end of the day, like you're just so much more relaxed because you've been through it, right? You when the fever is on, you're just like, well, we've had a bajillion other fevers and we knew how this kid did it, and like you're just not as high intensity stressed out over things. So that's just something to think about. Like first kid to third kid parenting completely changes, right? Like my third kid has ate stuff off the floor because I don't want to say I'm too lazy, but I just didn't move fast enough. I may have thought, okay, maybe that wasn't that bad. I know he shouldn't, and he's already ate it, right? Like, it's like it's going through my head, like, oh, I'd have to. Well, he's already eaten it. You know what I mean? It sounds so crazy to think that. Now, guys, that my kid doesn't just eat stuff off the floor, but I'm just using that as an example of like it's happened before, and you look at it and take it a little bit differently. So, but yeah, that's it. Um, some nostalgia, generational side of things. I still think like at the end of the day, childhood kids things that they'll never experience, right? Couple things, right? My kids don't experience car rides like we used to. We fly most places when we have to go somewhere, so the long distance car rides are pretty minimal. And that was all we really did back in the day growing up is taking long distance car rides. So that's something they just don't understand that. They don't know what it's like to really be in a vehicle for that long. My scenario, we didn't have a large vehicle or a van or whatever it might be for most of that time. So like we're stuck in just like a normal size vehicle, right? My mom for a while drove a Mitsubishi Galant. You know what I mean? I remember that car, and that thing was small, right? Like as a kid, you barely fit behind the driver's seat. You know what I mean? My dad's almost like 6'4", 6'5", like you barely fit behind him, so they don't understand those pains, the smaller cars, the longer car rides, like they'll never understand that, like that aspect. And then something else I'll never understand. And I have friends that say their kids go outside and they play and stuff like that. No, like when we went outside and played as kids, my parents, our parents had no idea where we were at. We could have been anywhere. Like, and they couldn't have found us. Our kids, like, we have trackers on them, for lack of better words. Like, we know where they're at. It's very controlled. It's very understanding of where you may or may not be and all that stuff. Like, that is different. That is wildly different, that our kids just truly will not understand the freedom behind what we had back in the day, just going out and being kids and, going to the local field. The local fields weren't locked up, right? You could go at any time. We were playing tag in the dark around the neighborhoods and in the parks. We were doing all the stuff that now it's like, okay, it closes at dark, and then there's park people that are coming around, they're kicking people out. Like loitering is a thing, and you can't go to the mall. Like my kids will never understand. I don't know how many times, like you guys, like this is a serious one. Our kids will never understand going to the mall and hanging out for 3 and 4 hours just to hang out. You may catch a movie. You may also miss the movie that you paid for and only see half of it because you forgot. Like there's a mall in North Carolina, Concord Mills is something different now, I think it is. It was literally like a quarter mile or half mile all the way around, just a big circle, right? We would walk that multiple times. Like I remember that growing up, right? There was so much there. My kids will never understand spending that kind of time in the mall. Like you can't even do that anymore. The kids can't go to the mall. Like you got to be accompanied by an adult or buying stuff, spending money, right? So like that's something they're not going to have. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, let's see here. So talk a little bit about the invisible mental load dads don't talk about. Man, so that's a tough one, right? Like, first and foremost, dads do not talk about stuff in general, right? And I think it's easy for us to suppress those feelings in conversations, right? We try to be the best friend. We try to do all this stuff, but the mental load that we carry because we feel like we can't have conversations or one-on-one conversations with people is wild, right? We feel like they won't connect, or they're not going to get it, or they're going to judge, or they're going to defriend us. They're going to tell other people about us. They're going to backstab us and all that stuff. And they're not going to understand where we're coming from. That's the hard part. Like, women can talk about anything. They can talk about anything, right? I mean, it's wild to listen to a group of ladies get together and they're able to talk about anything and everything. Their monthly visitor to like to their cravings they're having, to the kids' dirty diapers, to you know, it doesn't matter, right? What they ate last night, what they didn't eat last night, like, they will talk about it all, and they're free to do it. They just feel very freeing to do that. And men do not. We are extremely surface level, wildly surface level. That's where we stay. That's where we live on that. And so we have this mental load that we carry because we're not willing to, or we're afraid to talk about the things that matter or need to matter. The getting the stuff off the plate, right? I think that stems a lot from the mental load that we also carry, the visible load and mental load we carry away from our spouses as well. So as men, something else that I think that we do is we don't actually communicate the mental load that we have and the invisible mental load that we're taking on to our wives. So we're not open to having conversations with our wives. And I think that's a huge, huge, huge red flag mistake, right? So first and foremost, we're not having a biblical conversation with the Lord. We're not opening up with the Lord and having the conversation of what's going on and everything about all that stuff. Like, we're not doing that, right? And striving to get closer to him, but we're also not striving to get closer to our wives by having a true in-depth conversation. And so what ends up occurring in the marriage sector of things is we have a rough day at work. We're not willing to have a conversation. We're just holding everything back, right? We're doing our thing, holding all that stuff back. And then we come home, we have a couple brewskis, we're chilling, and we're not spending time with the kids. And, wife's getting mad because we're not invested. We're on our phones. You're looking at tickety talk. You're doing this, you're doing that, right? You want to turn the game on, all this stuff. So you're suppressing the mental load by having a couple beers and just letting loose, right? Whatever that looks like. And I'm not saying like you might be an alcoholic. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying in general, like, we decompress differently instead of outwardly in ways of having conversations with people. What would a 5-minute conversation look like with your wife to say, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, had a long day today. I might be a little quiet tonight because I have this going on or that going on. I'm dealing with this. I was telling you last week, such and such is going on. I'm really stressed. I'm really this. I'm really that, right? Like, why can we not have that? That maybe open up the door to more. Your wife is going to be more understanding. She's going to know. You're going to trade and adjust roles for a little bit. You're going to work together. You're going to build a better overall scenario. And then now you're not going to be in trouble that you are not as available for the kids or whatever that might be. Honey, you're going to have to lay down. We're not done. You want another one of these? You want another one? Okay. So I think that is the scenario. That is the broken, the straw that's breaking the camel's back, right? We're not having we're not fixed vertically with the Lord, as we're not opening up the conversations and having them. Okay. So something else we're doing. I just realized one of my things fell. Well, would you look at that? We're not having that relationship aspect with the Lord. Then we're not having a relationship with our spouses, and we're not having a relationship in any circumstance, which is trickling out amongst the relationships that we have and our friends and our family and our kids and all that stuff. And then back doors, bad situations at work, back doors, bad situations in all the other things in our life. And I think that is it. That invisible mental load is just deafening, right? It's deafening to us. eventually we become numb to it. We try to stop and try to go, and that's not really possible though, guys. Like, it's going to come back. It's going to haunt you, right? It's going to absolutely haunt you. And that is what sin, it will eat you alive. It will absolutely eat you alive. Hold on, we got to reset her here. This chair not, is it a different chair? No, you're going to lay down. There we go. All right. I got it. I'll just give her beef livers. So that's it. That's it. That's the thing. So I think I talked a little bit about, we'll talk about like date nights mattering more. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, date nights are super crazy important, but what I want to break it down to is there's a difference between an in-home date night and an out-of-home date night, or a real date night, like a bougie date night or a date night with friends. I think there are a bunch of versions of them. What I would challenge and encourage you to do with your wife is sit down and have a conversation wrapping your head around all those types. And here's what I'll say is sometimes you could be craving one, but getting another, leaving you unfulfilled. And then you create problems, all because we're not communicating what we're needing, and we're dealing with the mental load. And that goes both ways. Husband, wife, that goes both ways. We're not describing what we're needing, right? It's okay to say no to the friends hangout, or to say we really need to hang out with some friends to just chat, talk, hang out, play games, whatever it might be, to unload, like, that right aspect. So there's so many bits and pieces to that puzzle that go there, but date nights matter so much more after kids than they did before. A date night before, or a single kid or two kids, like, it collectively gets more and more difficult, but more and more important. And I'm not saying if you only have one kid, it's your date nights are less important than ours. I'm just saying, like, if that's your end, right, they become more and more important, and you have to just focus and set the time and energy. Not everything takes money. It takes wanting to spend quality time and do quality things with your significant other, your spouse. So, absolutely. Let's see here. Oh man, we're 100% team parenting versus dividing responsibilities. I mean, in reality, I'd like to say we are as close to team parenting as it gets. However, we do have some roles that my wife carries certain mental loads and I carry the other. So I would just kind of put it in that category, in that perspective. At the end of the day, she definitely controls the calendar and the understanding of the calendar, whereas I get the kids to school, I get the kids to showers, I get the kids up in the morning, I put them to bed at night for the most part, and stuff like that. So like, we have some very different roles and responsibilities that play off one another. She might set the calendar stuff, but I might be taking them there, doing the things with them, right? So it's a very back and forth, but we are cohesive together. And it's not like she's making one decision without me, or I'm doing one thing without her. It's more so like sometimes we have more of a lead in something, but we're still invested together, and it doesn't get any better than that. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do a rapid fire fun segment, just kind of talking through some things, just because I feel like I've hit a bunch of stuff here, and there's a lot of things that I have, like, that I think I could talk about. Dad guilt, fear as a father nobody talks about, success, what success means to you now, balancing ambition with family time, the pressures dad feel to provide, how becoming a dad changed your identity. What kind of legacy are you building in the hardest season of fatherhood so far? So stuff like that. We can get into some deep stuff, and maybe we'll save those for later. So we're gonna do some rapid fire segment here, and if you could do a quick dad court or hot take section, here it is. That's what I'm just reading this verbatim. Okay, Crocs, acceptable dad footwear or not? If you're listening, drop it in the comments. That's what we want to know. Absolutely, guys. I don't care what you're wearing. Okay, I don't care what you're wearing. Wear it. Wear it proudly. That's all I can tell you. Just wear it proudly. All right. Is it legal to leave the house without snacks? Absolutely not. You got to carry at least one snack with you per kid. You need something. Or the flip side of this is be prepared to go buy snacks. Like, you got to have the budget to absolutely go buy the snacks if you don't have them with you. So one way or the other, Outside of that, if you have a no-go on the budget or you're not willing to go buy them, you got to have the snacks. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, it is a necessity. Okay. Best dad vehicle, get a minivan. A minivan is the pinnacle vehicle of parenting, in my opinion. I don't care how bougie you are, guys. I got a Ford Raptor, I got a Hummer EV, I've had a Tesla, we've had CRVs, Honda Accords, we have a Honda Odyssey, we've had another Silverado, a Trail Boss. We've had all kinds of vehicles, a Civic Si, right? I don't have crazy stuff, sports cars, but the ultimate dad vehicle number one is going to be a minivan. So get that in your family. I don't care if you have one kid. That's the pinnacle of vehicles that you need. And then vehicle number two, if you're really the next level dad, in my opinion, right, that next vehicle you would have, get a full-size truck, right? Just do it, right? It's so worth it. You can just haul so much crap with it. If you have more than 3 kids, the truck is out, in my opinion. Now you move into like suburban territory. That's where I'd go. So it'd be minivan, full-size truck. Let's go like Raptor. That's my pick of choice. Toyota Tundra, TRD Pro, or like something of those two. And then outside of that, we'd be looking at like a suburban, a Yukon XL. Those are the picks, in my opinion. Should kids have unlimited summer screen time? Nope. Screen time's got to be controlled. They will be absolute couch potatoes. They shouldn't be all the time. I think sometimes you just got to say, okay. But here's what I'll tell you. Control the screen time. Control what they're watching. I just can't caution you anymore. Make sure you know what your kids are watching on TV. There's some stuff in there that is absolutely dark, and it's inside of it, hidden right on your TV, right on Netflix, right on Disney, right? Disney Plus, right on Hulu. There's some dark stuff. Prime Video, right, for kids, all that stuff. There's some dark stuff. So like find it. There's some really good biblical based channels and shows and stuff like that, and things you can get onto. So I highly recommend that. So just throwing that out there. No, I don't think they should get unlimited screen time, but I think screen time is okay. So Costco samples, I'll be honest with you. No, my kids don't. I got one kid that would eat probably every Costco sample. The rest don't. So for us, it's a no-go. However, I do not judge that one bit. If my wife and all my kids would eat them, absolutely, we would be there chowing down on some Costco samples. Is coaching your own kid actually fun? Depends on the age, depends on the sport, depends on their abilities, maybe. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I do not want to be a head coach of any of my kids when they're like the super low intermediate level, like the very, very beginner level of stuff. I want somebody else to do that. I want to look at my kids' eyes and see if they really love what they're doing so I can encourage them in that way. Plus, to be honest with you, at that age, they don't really listen to us anyways. And so I want somebody else to struggle through that. They made the decision to coach that, and I'm going to let them do it. I'm very thankful for that individual that has the patience. I think that starting in the next level, I have no problem on the assistant coach side of things. I think I love that aspect. And then beyond it, I'm definitely on the head coach side of things. Like, I'm going to get involved and be involved as best as possible. But I'll also say this, I'm anti-travel ball. I'm anti-make your life about sports. I lived it. I breathed it. And I think it is ruining families in this world. It's ruining the biblical culture. It is ruining so much of families, the competitive sports realm. I'm not saying you cannot be competitive. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying travel ball, pay to play, 5,000 games a summer, every weekend, everything, all the time. Absolutely not. I am anti that 100%. Is yard work peaceful or punishment? It's both. I pay to have my yard mowed. I think that's super important. It buys me the time that I need to actually do some of the other yard work. But here's the problem. We also have a pool. So we have a lot of landscaping in and around our yard and pool and stuff like that. My thing, I think it's a punishment, is because it really takes away from my kids being involved. And here's where I struggle as a parent, and I'll leave you with this one. And we'll leave with this one. It is what I struggle with as a parent. If my kids get involved on doing the yard work, 9 times out of 10, I'm cleaning up their mess. and they've made it worse, and it's taken 2 times, 3 times, 4 times as long. So that's my perspective of that. I'd rather be efficient and effective and get it done, and maybe them not help at the ages they are. Now they're getting to be an age where they actually are being productive instead of destructive. So that's that caveat where we're turning a corner here. But at the end of the day, I'd rather pick and choose my battles of what thing will go backwards on, if that makes sense. So like when they're becoming more destructive than destructive in the situation, that's the scenario. So like you have to pick and choose battles, and you guys know what those things are. Yard work's one of those for me. It's like being involved, like washing of a car. Kids can do that all day long. That's fine. I'll rewash the car. We throw some water on it. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it, right? Like that's fun. I can be invested in that. But yard work sometimes it just doesn't that way. But that's just it. It's just something else to think about. So it just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. So guys, I've had a blast. I really appreciate you sticking around. It's probably went 5 minutes or 7 minutes too long here, but that's okay. That's just what we do. I really appreciate you tuning in and just give me an opportunity. And hopefully you're still around. It's been 40 minutes, and I'm just blowing through some stuff here, trying to just get some content out for you guys. And I got a bunch more questions here, which I'm super excited to hit on in the future. And Ryan and I will hit on and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you tuning in. Guys, definitely like, follow, subscribe. Share the podcast. If you want to be on the podcast, we always have the link out there. We'd love to have you on it. It does make things a lot easier when we have people pop on here, or if they're committed and actually committed to making it. That's cool too. So we're trying to do some things. I want to change the stigma. I want to change the ability for us to open up, share that mental load with one another, so that we can come together and be better as a community of fathers, right? Like fathers, dads, friends, best friends, of all that sense. I think we can all be better is what I'm saying. So. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for paying attention to Nala and I tonight. And until next time, see you guys. Check it out.
What's up, Dad? Hey, Dad. What's up?